Samashloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtigim. So today we are covering the third verse of Sikshastakam, section 1. So we'll invoke the prayers. Om Jnanatimidandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Dadadi Supadandigam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yudhudagalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sahagana Raghunatharidam Tam Sajivam Sadhuidam Savadudam Parijana Sahidam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalidam Shri Vishakhanidam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Radha Kanda Namostude Aptakanchana Gaurani Radhavani Vrishabhanusute Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Devacha Adhidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Gadadhar Srivasadi Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So everybody can repeat after me. Om Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayade Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratushe Namaha. The obeisances unto the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya, who is more magnanimous than any other avatara, even Krishna himself, because he is bestowing freely what no one else has ever given, pure love of Krishna. The Rupa Goswami thus praises Lord Chaitanya as the most beneficent incarnation of all, for he gives the greatest gifts by teaching the highest form of devotional service. So dear devotees, we will be taking the third verse today, the first section of it. So everybody can repeat after me. Krinada Visuni Chena Arorabi Sahushnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sada Harihi Krinada Visuni Chena Arorabi Sahushnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sada Harihi. Anybody would like to recite one Mataji Guruji?
Trinadapi Sunichena Api Sahishnuna
Tarorabi Sahishnuna
Amanina Manadena Kirtana Sadahari
Kirtaniya Sadahari
Krinadapi Sunichena Tarora api sahishnuna
Taroriva Avisahishnuna
Amanina Manadena Kirtanya Sadaharihi.
I saw Bimal Gupta Prabhu raise the hand. I don't know, not sure. Prabhuji, you wanted to recite?
I can do that.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Tina api shunichena
Rinatapi
Api
sunichena
sanicena
aroropi shaishnuna
Taroriva
Tarorapi
Sakrishnuna
sanicena
amanina manodena
Amanina Manadena
Manadena
kirtaniya shadaharihi.
Kirtaniya Sada Harihi. Go ahead, Nirumadaji.
ऋणादपि सुनिचेन
Rinatapi sunichena
Sanicena
तरोरपि सहिष्णुना
Tarorapi
Tarorapi
Sakrishnuna
अमानिना मानदेन
Amanina Manadena
Manadena
कीर्तनीय सदा हरि
Kirtaniya Sada Harihi. Vimal Gupta Prabhu, you wanted to recite? She raised the hand. Not sure. Your raise. Okay, then go ahead if you want to recite. Otherwise, let's continue. Okay. Let's continue then. We will read the translation. Please repeat after me. One should chant the holy name
One should
chant the holy name
of the Lord in a humble state of mind,
of the
of the
Lord,
Lord in a humble state of mind,
thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street.
thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street.
One should be more tolerant than a tree,
one should
One should be more tolerant than a tree,
devoid of all sense of false prestige,
divide up
devoid of all sense of false prestige,
and should be ready to offer all respect to others.
and should
and should be ready to offer all respect to others.
In such a state of mind,
in
In such a state of mind,
one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
one can change the holy name of the Lord constantly.
Okay, thank you. Let's go more deeper into these verses. Dear devotees, this is the very important section. The first two verses, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was establishing the relationship with the Supreme Lord. The first two verses, Chedo Darpanamarchana. This way, by chanting the holy name, one can establish a very strong relationship with Krishna and also glorifying the holy name. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was saying in the last verse that even though I don't have this holy name is in front of us, front of me, I don't have any attachment to holy name. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of course, but this is just revealing the common nature of the people. Even though Krishna's name, form, qualities, paraphernalia, everything is there, very easily available. But since I don't have the attraction for the holy name, then I am the most unfortunate in this world. So why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is revealing one who doesn't have the attachment, attraction to the holy name, chanting of the holy name is the most unfortunate. Because of, even though everything is, this holy name is very simple. This 16-syllable process is chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. This anybody can chant anytime, any circumstances, any place. There is no rules and regulations. So this way, one who chants his holy name, he can develop that relationship with the Supreme Lord. But even though it is freely available, I don't have any attraction. That's my most unfortunate ill fortune of, in this world. So third verse is first the relationship, Sambandha Gyan. This verse onwards up to seventh verse, up to sixth verse is the Abhideya, the process. How one should chant the holy name, in what state of mind, and how one can establish the relationship and have the attraction to the holy name. This is a progressive verses and the steps that one how can develop this Krishna prema. Ultimately, when we come to the eighth verse, that with this understanding and with that process, one can develop that Krishna prema. So here in this verse, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is revealing the Abhideya, the process, how one can continue the process to establish the relationship and to have the attachment and the taste and the attraction for the holy name. So here, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is revealing that Pranadapi Sunijena Taroriva Sagashnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. Such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of Lord constantly. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is revealing that the attachment, the attraction, the taste will come if you follow this process that is called the Abhideya process. And we will see that. What is that in this verse revealing? Process of chanting the holy name, thus attaining the Supreme. So there is no doubt that one can attain the Supreme just by chanting the holy name. But how? So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is revealing that humbler than a blade of grass. Trinatapi. Trina means the grass. So we know that the grass on the ground, so people are walking over the grass every moment, every time. So as soon as it's a humbler, it's actually receiving all those, persecutions, all those, pain. But as soon as it goes, it comes back. It doesn't protest. It doesn't say, "Oh, you should not come to me. I will retaliate you. I will take a revenge against you." But the grass is ready to receive that kind of service from everybody, and then always be there. So this is allegorical, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is mentioning that one should that state of mind, humbler than a blade of grass, which is primarily known as humility in our all endeavor. Second is actually known as tolerant than a tree. So we know that the tree, even though there are scorching heat, the rain falls and various weather seasons, the cold and the winter and all these various weather conditions, the tree is always there and tolerating all this. Even people cut down the tree, and this forbearance of all, the tree is tolerating. And then it doesn't ask, even if there are scorching heat, it doesn't ask for the water. It tolerates. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is mentioning that our condition is like that, and one condition should be like that in this world. One should be able to tolerate all the adversities, all the odds in our life. Then give respect to everyone. That means we should give mana dena. Mana means respect to each and every living entities. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, amanina. Amanina means don't expect any respect in return. So that's what is, the position, puja, pradesha, all is there. Everybody is looking for some kind of return, some kind of benefits back if you do something to others. Every moment that what I can get, even if it's many people are chanting, oh, what I can get out of it if I spend some time. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says the process, chant always, no matter what, but chant always. So we'll go a little bit, meditate on these topics today. The first, be humbler than the humility and the tolerance. So here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, here is the picture of Sri Haridas Thakur chanting in front of Tulasi Devi. In fact, chanting in front of Tulasi Devi is very, very powerful, and it gives lots of mercy by Tulasi Devi and also chanting itself. And this is as it's recommended that one should chant, if possible, in front of Tulasi. That's why in our Gaudiya Vaishnava, in our temples, immediately after the Mangala Arati, we keep the Tulasi there in the front center, and everybody sit around the Tulasi plant and chant the holy name. So it also gives the lots of mercy. So as it says that one should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than a straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree. Why? Humility leads one free from Nama Abharada and Vaishnava Abharada. So always remember this, dear devotees. Unless we have come to the state of humility, there is a chance that we all can make most of the time the offenses against holy name as well as offenses against the devotees. Because of we always put ourselves in the center. When we put ourselves in the center, then we always think of ourselves. And as it says that in the Bhagavad Gita, Asha Pashas Tadir Badir Kama Krodha Parayana Ihande Kama Bhogartam Anyayartena. Anyaya. So the word Arjuna, Krishna is revealing to Arjuna that anyaya, whenever we put ourselves to selfishness. So humility, the opposite of humility is called arrogance, that pride and arrogance, right? And when there is a pride and arrogance, always that's come from our false ego. When the false ego is on the topmost, then everything happens. All these atrocities, all these anarthas, which comes to us. And the plane of anarthas, when the plane of arrogance and pride and envy and all, then whatever we are doing from our bodily and the sensual level, it's not on the pure level or on the spiritual level. So that always causes various kinds of offenses and aparadhas. Always remember this. Why we should always keep this humility or the humbler. Can somebody please put on the mute? I think there is a noise. Please. Okay, thank you. And yeah, as it always says that humility leads to free from Nama Aparad and Vaishnava Aparad. Always remember this. Sometimes ask why you should do that. Yes, unknowingly that we are all making some kinds of offenses. There are Dhamma Aparads, there are Vaishnava Aparadas, Seva Aparadas, especially, the Nama Aparadas. It's all there. So which one will be free from the Aparadas, offenses against the holy name and Vaishnavas and our Seva and our Dham. So when it comes to the Seva Aparad, right, when we don't have that humility, we are not entitled for any adhikari. Seva adhikari diyo koro nijadasi. When we pray to Tulasi Devi, we pray to Tulasi Devi that Seva adhikari diyo koro nijadasi. Who is giving that? Vaishnava only can give that adhikar to Seva, to engage in the loving devotional service to the Krishna. One who is so arrogant, so pride, and he does not get that. That's why most of the people, those who are pride and arrogant, they don't come for the temple for the service. They say, why should I come? It's a seva. This is the mood of das, mood of servant. Why should come to that position? So most of the people has this attitude. So one should have that mood of humility, especially when we do the service seva. So many times the arrogance and the pride starts with the ninda in the mind and in words. Many times, that why the persons or people are not humble, because they always have this ego and they criticize, always they find the fault, always see some kinds of issues with everything. And why? Because of the false ego, the ahangar, that I am everything, I am the center of everything. So instead of the Krishna is in the center, that we put self-centric, we put ourselves in the center of our activities. So Srimad Bhagavatam says that this begins with our ninda to everything. Nindanam dosha kirtanam, meaning ninda means blasphemy, means to glorify someone's fault. That means always we try to find the fault, criticize so many ways, and this way and that way. When I went there, he didn't look at me. That person was showing his face to me, that I am so and so, I am like that, I am like this. Always these constant thoughts, comes to our mind. So it starts from there, because of the mind is the root of the seed of everything that sprouts from there. So it says that in the Srimad Bhagavatam, when our speech shows disrespect, intolerance, envy, or violence towards a devotee, it is a ninda. So it is not a humble position. So we should not that, we should show some kind of humility, but that is not really the way of humility or humbleness. Humbleness in our speech, humbleness in our thoughts, humbleness in our words, and our behavior in all respect. So it is a ninda. When our speech shows disrespect, intolerance, envy, or violence towards a devotee, it is a ninda. Just censuring a devotee is great offense. Then we can easily guess what huge offense we will commit if we treat him with the envy and violence. See, that is the greatest enemy in our life, especially devotees' life. There are always envy and jealousy is there, arrogance. And then that creates the violence of the speech, violence of the mind, violence of the thoughts, violence of our behavior. And these starts from there, sprouts from there. So we know that story of Sachimata, right? So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was giving the Mahapragashna Lila. When in the Nandanacharya's house, when Nityananda Prabhu appeared from the Vrindavan, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came there and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started to worship Nityananda Prabhu. But Nityananda Prabhu immediately got hold of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You should be the one who be worshipped because of you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then with everybody's request, humble request, everybody wanted to worship Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They started to worship Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then after the end of that Maha Abhishek, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed his original form. It's called Mahapragashna Leela. That means his full six-handed Shadbhuja form to everybody. And that Mahapragashna Leela, only the fortunate, those who are so devoted to Krishna, so devoted to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could see that the form of Krishna, form of the Supreme Lord. So in that, in order to see everybody that in the entire village came to know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is revealing himself as the Supreme Lord and giving this beautiful darshan to his pure devotees. So Mother Saji is also came running. Mother Saji Devi is the mother of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, came running to see this. But my Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then obstructed and mentioned to Nandanacharya that you don't allow Mother Saji to come in. So you look at that, it's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mother herself. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then later revealed that when Mother Saji had a ninda like this, why? Because of Mother Saji Devi, and Mother Saji Devi had two sons. Elder son was Vishwarup, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Vishwambar, came. And then in early age, Vishwarup left the home to take sannyasa. So then always Saji's mother had this in her mind that because of Advaita Acharya's company, Advaita Acharya was teaching Vishwarup, because of Advaita Acharya, my son left me and took sannyasa. So this in Mother Saji Devi's mind, this was there. So then what happened? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, no, he is the Supreme Lord, understand everybody's heart. So then quite some time, Mother Saji Devi was not sending Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the Advaita Acharya. Then later Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then went there and started to develop this relationship with Advaita Acharya, then became a disciple of Advaita Acharya to study the scriptures. So then Mother Saji had this and it had a thought, even my elder son is left because of Advaita Acharya. Now, what would happen to my younger sons, Nimai? And even if he also leaves me, then what would happen to me? So always ask this in her mind. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understand that because of that reason, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't give the darshan to Saji Devi. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a great love for the mother. But just this reason, this is to show that to the people in general, that how this ninda, these offenses, that not showing the humbleness and humility in all respect, how the Lord is actually taking that. So like that, there are so many in that Mahapragashna Leela. There is a lady called Dukhi. Dukhi was very humble devotee. And what she was doing is actually every day when there was the cleaning of the Gundija Marjan, the Gundija temple, this Dukhi was actually very pale and very old and very weak. And even though she is so in such a condition, she was also helping bringing water from Ganges to the Gundija temple. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu noted this. And when Mahapragashna Leela, when Dukhi came, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called Dukhi and brought near to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and told her that you are not Dukhi, you are Sukhi. You are so Sukhi, you are very blissful. Because of that blissfulness, you have that devotion for the Lord. You are engaging very humbly. I'm very pleased with you. Now onwards, you are not Dukhi, you are Sukhi. So like that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is revealing that. When Haridas Thakur was, this is in the case of the tolerance. What should be a tolerant than a free? So we know that when Nawab Hussain Shah there were some complaints because of the caste Brahmins were complaining because of Haridas Thakur was always chanting the holy name and, inspiring others. And then they also have the Sankirtan, and these caste Brahmins went and complained to Hussain Shah. Hussain Shah called Haridas Thakur in the court, and Hussain Shah started to speak to Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur, you are a Muslim. You are originally a Muslim. Why are you chanting this, this Hindu's name? And this is haram. This is Allah doesn't, Allah will not tolerate this. So you should, avoid this. You should stop this chanting all this. So Nawab Hussain Shah was very much insisting. And then Nawab Hussain Shah, Haridas Thakur was talking back to Nawab Hussain Shah that I'm chanting the name of the Lord, the Supreme Lord. There's only one God. You may call Allah, I may call Krishna. There is no difference, but this is the powerful, most powerful. This is the way Haridas Thakur was convincing Hussain Shah, but Hussain Shah was very arrogant. And then Hussain Shah said, if you don't stop, then I will punish you. I will punish you. So then, no, Haridas Thakur didn't say anything and ready to accept all this punishment, that even ready to receive everything and any intolerance, any utterance that which occurs, Haridas Thakur was ready to receive because of his full confidence, full faith in the Supreme Lord. So then Hussain Shah ordered that Haridas Thakur should be beaten up in 22 marketplace, and whichever happens first, if he dies before, just throw him into the river and then come back. So they were trying, and all the servants of this Hussain Shah, soldiers, and they took Haridas Thakur and tied up, and then started to beat Haridas Thakur and bringing to each marketplace in such a way that whoever sees this, when beating of Haridas Thakur, everybody was crying so loudly that, severely the servants of Hussain Shah was beating up the Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was just silently tolerating everything. And then it was continuing from morning. And when it comes to the 22 marketplace, even Haridas Thakur was not even showing a little bit tinge of that, any problem with it. If anybody else would have even 5-6 places, after 5-6 marketplaces, then they would die immediately. But Haridas Thakur was completely tolerating this. And then what happened? Then even the soldiers, even servants they were very much, tied up and tired. And they prayed to the Haridas Thakur, please show me some mercy, that otherwise our Nawab Hussain Shah will kill us. And we are even going to die. And what kind of personality, Mahashaya, you are? Please show some mercy. This time Haridas Thakur showed some mercy and pretended that, then he is fallen unconscious. So Haridas Thakur fallen unconscious, but actually Haridas Thakur went into Samadhi. So they thought that Haridas Thakur is passed away. So they then untied and threw him into the river in the Ganges. So then after some time, Haridas Thakur then came back, and this meantime, the soldiers came back and told Hussain Shah what is all happened. We completely, Haridas Thakur is no more, and he's been passed away because of all this. So then after some time, everybody was in the court. Haridas Thakur came back right in the middle of the court and appeared. Hussain Shah just, frightened. What happened? Everybody said, you are died and thrown into the river with that condition, and you came back. You are not an ordinary person. Hussain Shah even convinced with the devotion of Srila Haridas Thakur. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was referring this on the Mahaprakasana Leela. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was referring this to Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur, when you are beaten up, I was actually came there and I was receiving all that beatings. Look at me in the back. So you can see that all the beatings that the soldiers did, that I was receiving, and look at me on my back, all those impressions were there on the back. When Haridas Thakur, everybody looked at back of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were very astonished. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying that even one devotee is offended. When the one devotee is offended, actually they are not offending to that devotee or that person, but they are offending me. Then I personally receive that all offenses, they are actually offending me. That's why it is mentioned that if one offended a devotee or any person, then what should be done? He should go sincerely and seek the forgiveness unless that's why when in the case of the Durvasa Muni and the king, what is the king? The name Ambarish. Ambarish Maharaj. Yes, Ambarish Maharaj. The king Ambarish Maharaj was very pure devotee of the Lord. So Ambarish Maharaj was continuously observing this fasting. And one day, Ambarish Maharaj was observing this fasting, and Durvasa Muni came. Durvasa Muni came, and that's the time to break the fast. So the Ambarish Maharaj said that Ambarish Maharaj mentioned, okay, you come back, you take your bath, I would give you the prasadam, and we will be breaking the fast. But it was getting delayed, and the time of breaking fast, that's also an offense that if you don't properly follow that the scriptural injunctions and follow the instructions of the lords and the devotees, that's also an offense. That is also that not showing our humility or humbleness. So here Ambarish Maharaj was waiting and waiting and waiting. He's about to break past the time. He just took the water. That means Ambarish, it's mentioned that in the scripture, if one wants to break like completely a fasting, then if one takes the water, then that can consider as the fasting to break. So Ambarish Maharaj just took the water, and this is the time Durvasa Muni came. Durvasa Muni came, and seeing that he broke the fast without me and waiting for me, and Durvasa Muni was so outrageous, so much anger, and came up. And then what happened? Then Ambarish Maharaj was trying to kill, Durvasa Muni was trying to kill Ambarish Maharaj. And then what happened? Just there is a demon came out with that anger. And then all on a sudden, Ambarish Maharaj just prayed to the Supreme Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead. But that the same demon, which was trying to kill, and now turned towards Durvasa Muni, because of when an offense is against a devotee is executed, then Lord took that as an offense. Then Lord will reciprocate accordingly. Now that demon was trying to kill Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni was trying all the places and running even Brahmalok, even Vishnulok, and every places, and came to the Supreme Lord. And then protect me, and protect me, Trahimam, Trahimam. Now Lord said that, no, I cannot do anything. And you have to go and seek forgiveness from the devotee you are offended. He is my pure devotee. I cannot tolerate any offenses which you make against the devotees. So then, then Durvasa Muni had to come back and seek forgiveness from Ambarish Maharaj. Ambarish Maharaj forgiven, because that's the nature of a devotee, because of the humbleness and the humility. He does not take any revenge or any kind of forbearance with the devotees. Always in that humble and humility, always keep that. So this is the way that how Lord takes, and anybody offend, and because of this pride and arrogance and envy, and so Lord is seated in our heart. Lord is seeing everything. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is revealing that this is all most of our problem, because of we have this arrogance nature. So we'll continue. So in these verses, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also many times mentioned that it's not that only to the devotees, but all living entities. So we should control there are so many offenses like that. And when a person is arrogant, not in a humble, they can create all these kinds of offenses, violence in speech. Many times we saw that, people does not know what they're talking, even though in this devotees platform. I saw that when once I went into the new Vrindavan, early in the morning, and we went to Mangalarati. There are little conflict. There was a senior Vaishnava who is little older in age, and there is an young devotee. So without any kinds of instructions, and Mangalarati, that Samsara Dava has to be recited. So this older person already assigned somebody to chant the Samsara Dava, but this devotee has to come and show, because of, I'm so and so, I'm a good singer, I'm that, I'm this, came forward and started to started to sing the Samsara Dava. So then elder person came and very humbly told to this person that, okay, that is already been assigned, and so you should give that, otherwise that person also will get offended. So this person becomes very much angry, and in front of the Lord, He was creating a lot of noise and words. Who are you to speak? And I'm that, I'm this, I'm this. And we are all, kind of stunned there in front of the Lord Mangalarati time. So even though we come to this platform, even though we chant all this, but we make these offenses by verbal, by violence in the speech. This is called violence in the speech and offending. And then violence in behavior. So many times we could see that. One time we were all, devotees were playing together and something small happened. The devotee got so angry and he took some kind of instrument and took it in his hand. All on a sudden outburst. So what happens? This is all our offenses because we are very arrogant and always have pride. So I am so and so. It's all then the reflection of that comes into the various forms. Envy, jealousy, ninda. These are all the various other forms of this arrogance or the pride and selfishness and showing off position. I need to get into this. Why? Because we are arrogant. We are not considering anybody else. We are always thinking about ourselves. And then puja. Puja means, everybody should worship me. Oh, I am so and so. I am so many years into this. I can speak nicely. I can sing nicely. I can do this. I can speak and I can quote the verses. So now, naturally this pride comes and then humility goes away and pride comes. So everybody should give me the respect. Everybody should give me that. And this is called puja. This is in the subtle form. Even though we should not show, even though we don't show this, there are two ways that we all have this, this arrogant nature. One is actually directly, that physically, and then bodily. And second is actually subtle, in the subtle form. Even though we show that I'm so and so and so, I'm so humble, but in the heart, we are completely that asking or looking for all this. So that is our problem, dude. Sometimes, people say that I'm chanting the holy name for this so many years, but I'm not making any progress. Why? Because we have this arrogant nature within us. So then, this position and pradishta. Pradishta means, I'm so and so great. We have this ego that, I'm this, I'm a leader, I'm that. But in ISKCON, in the devotee community, everybody is considered as a servant leader. Not even though they don't even call themselves as leader, but they say servant leader. They are trying to serve the devotees. So we should always have this humble position, right? And it says that in the scriptures, when one has, like a tree, if you take a tree, when this tree bears the fruit on the branches, what happens? Then it comes down, touch the ground. When they have something, that should be our nature. When like that, when the water is actually, when there is a reservoir of water, what happens? When it flows down. When a tree bears the water, the fruits, and it comes down to touch the ground. And this should be our quality of. That means one should be always understand his position, because we are eternally the servants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And these qualities like humility, the tolerance, these are the spiritual nature. This is not even the material nature. So one who's seeking, one who aspiring for the spiritual nature, one should always, keep in mind that, these are our spiritual nature. Unless and until we come to the position of this humility and the tolerance, one cannot progress. That's what is exactly Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling us. So this is a process. Then, selfishness, disrespecting Vaishnavas, and so many, likes that. So we know that there is a disrespecting the Vaishnavas. There is, that the Srila Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was after the incident of the lady, the prostitute, came and tried to subdue the Haridas Thakur and tried to with the treachery of Ramachandra Khan. And then this lady came and tried to attract Haridas Thakur. But in 3 days, because of the purity and humility of Haridas Thakur mentioned to this lady that you came to, trick Haridas Thakur, and the Ramachandra Khan was very much envy of Haridas Thakur. Ramachandra Khan made some kind of plot that somehow I should, everybody come and giving respect to Haridas Thakur because he is a pure Vaishnava. Ramachandra Khan didn't tolerate this. And he was envy and jealousy, everything was growing up. He made a plan. He called the prostitute and said that somehow you be mingled with Haridas Thakur, then seeing that I can arrest Haridas Thakur. Then I can show that in the front of the public, in the society, that what kind of nature Haridas Thakur has. This was the plan and the plot. So Ramachandra can send a prostitute to Haridas Thakur, and she came down one night, very nicely dressed and showing all her, the parts to Haridas Thakur to what is called attract Haridas Thakur. But Haridas Thakur, this lady came and told, you are in your youth, you are so handsome, and why are you wasting your? I am so, because seeing your beauty and seeing your handsomeness, I am so attracted to you. You should fulfill my desire. Haridas Thakur said that, yes, I would definitely fulfill my desire, your desire. But let me chant. I have taken a vow that to chant, 10 million rounds in this month. So let me chant and let me finish. And if I finish, definitely I will fulfill your desire. So Haridas Thakur was not denying or going away or kind of using bad words. Who are you to come to nearby? Sometimes we have, many Brahmanas and Vaishnava caste. They come nearby, so and so, and they kind of our attitude. They show some attitude, I'm so and so, right? So, but a pure Vaishnava never show these kinds of things. So I very politely, Haridas Thakur replied to this lady and said that, not lady, a prostitute, said that, I would definitely, fulfill your desire. So she was trying in all her best way to convince and what is called to charm the Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was keep chanting, and one night completely passed. The morning then just arrived. He just left and told everything what happened with Ramachandra Khan. Now she told her, this day, today, tonight, I'm going tonight. Also, definitely, I will, I will attract Haridas Thakur. Then second day also went, and she was nicely dressed and came, and she sat there, and Haridas Thakur told, definitely, I would let me finish my round. As soon as I finish, I will fulfill your desire. Then the night passed, and the morning came again. And then she went back and she told him, this day, tonight, I have definitely no doubt that you can trust me. Like that she was told. And then again, she came back on the third night. And as soon as, Haridas Thakur told the same thing, and hopefully I would finish my round today, I would definitely fulfill. And he started to chant. Now a miracle happened now. Now, seeing and hearing this and the behavior and the association of that pure Vaishnava and the association of the holy name, this prostitute, this lady also now started to see some transformation, and he started to shiver, and she started to understand, and tears came down from her eyes. And then as soon as Haridas Thakur finished chanting, this lady came and fell flat at the feet of Haridas Thakur and told all what has happened. This was Ramachandra Khan's plot. And then because of he sent it to me that I did all these things, and please forgive me. I am so sinful and most sinful person. And because of the sin, and actually I came here, please protect me, please save me. And then Haridas Thakur told that, okay, in order to come out of all this, you have to do this, you have to take a vow. Now you have to, give all your possession in charity, take bath in the Ganges, come down here. I will give you the name, holy name. Strictly follow that. Then live here in this hut, and then you can get rid of, you can come out from all this, offenses that which you made, and you can become pure devotee of the Lord. So then she did that. She went back and, gave all the charity and took bath and came back, and Haridas Thakur then, instructed the holy name to this lady. And then she was continuously chanting for years and years. Then many people came to know about. Then immediately, then Haridas Thakur left that after instructing this holy name, left. And then that's where Haridas Thakur was traveling. See that the nature, the behavior of a devotee can completely instruct, completely give transformation to any other devotee, any other person in this world. I remember that we were traveling. I was actually taking His Holiness Janananda Goswami Maharaj to, Subal Prabhu's house. One junction came, and I thought Maharaj wanted to reach there fast, and I was driving a little fast, and one car was coming on the opposite side of the jug handle, and I didn't give way. So that Maharaj said that you should have gone the way. So I thought, Maharaj, you wanted to reach home very fast. But I was saying that when we give that, when we show that path and mercy to that person, seeing us, and he would remember the Lord, and he would gradually become the devotee of the Lord. Dear devotees, this is the mercy, this is the humility. This is called humility, not that just in the words, in our action. So like that, see, Haridas Thakur was even, after this, Haridas Thakur traveled and came to the place called, there is a Balaram Acharya. The place of Balaram Acharya was a disciple and a very strong devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Balaram Acharya was hosting Sri Haridas Thakur. Then there was one gathering was going on. Then Balaram Acharya Prabhu brought Haridas Thakur to that gathering. This was the place where Hiranmaya Majumdar and then their brothers they were the tax collectors of the government. And there was very big scholars and the Brahmanas were present there. And they were all talking about, and as soon as Haridas Thakur appeared there, and they all received and they all fall flat at the Haridas Thakur and glorify Haridas Thakur, because of Haridas Thakur was chanting 300,000 names every day and glorifying the holy name. And many people were glorifying the holy name. And then they were also requested Haridas Thakur, please, Mahashaya, please, reveal that the glories and the importance of the holy name. And Haridas Thakur was then revealing that even once chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, this holy name, he can get rid of all the sin and he can attain the liberation. In that assembly, there was one Brahmana. He was very much puffed up and very much in pride of his scholarly knowledge. And he said, I have been going through so many scriptures and so many logical and arguments, and I have studied Vedas and everything. But never it is mentioned anywhere that even once chant the holy name, he can attain the liberation. He said after many millions of lifetime, after one who does the pious activity, study the scriptures and goes through, then only he gets it. Then he was quoting all this. And Haridas Thakur said, Mahashya, no, it's actually according to the scripture, and scripture is referred that even one chant sincerely, purely the holy name, and he even chant holy name, no matter what, in what condition, he can get the liberation and mukti, and he can attain the Supreme Lord. So this time, this Brahmana, his name was called Gopala Chakravarti. This Gopala Chakravarti got very angry and he said, I'm challenging you. If the chanting of the holy name can give the liberation, then, if it doesn't give the liberation, I'll cut your nose. And everybody got stunned and shocked. How can this Brahmana, this person who is so arrogant and the pride, and showing that this is his behavior to Haridas Thakur. He's a great Mahashya, great Vaishnava. How can you offend like this? And then Haridas Thakur very humbly accepted that, said that yes, I would humbly accept that your challenge, that if it doesn't happen, I would come myself, cut my nose. And then Haridas Thakur just got up and left, and everybody else was chastising this Gopal Chakravarti. He was actually assisting the Hiranya Majumdar and the brother that who called tax collection. They were also offended, and they said, no more your service is needed. You are dismissed from your job, your service. And everybody was so stunned with that. And then what happened? Then Haridas Thakur left. After 3 days, this Gopal Chakravarti got a leprosy. He contracted with the leprosy. And then what happened? Then, he was a very young, beautiful boy, very handsome boy, his raised nose, very beautiful person. And then after 3 days, after the offending of this Haridas Thakur, then what happened? He contracted with the leprosy and slowly started his nose even fall down with the leprosy, and his hands and the legs and the fingers disfigured in like that. And then the news spread out because of the offenses of a Vaishnava and disrespecting a Vaishnava, that it created such a havoc in the Gopala Chakravarti. And the news spread out, and Haridas Thakur came back, and everybody told this to the Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur, I didn't even think anything else, this with the Gopala Chakravarti. I didn't even think anything that, oh Lord, please forgive this Gopala Chakravarti. Dear devotees, this is the nature of a devotee, the humbleness. And like that, there are so many incidents, so many examples out there. We can see that, that this real Raghunath Goswami, he was a son of a millionaire. He was giving the dandavats to all the Vaishnavas who comes to the Vrindavan every day. Then only he starts his anything, daily routine. 300, 400, 500 devotees, dandavats to all the Vaishnavas. And we know that 6 Goswamis, how do they live? That the Vasudev Datta, there is a beautiful pastime is mentioned, the Vasudev Datta and the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Vasudev Datta was also very much, he has contracted lots of sores in his body, and he was paining like anything, and but he doesn't give any kind of pain to other living entities. So what happens? One day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was traveling, and he started the South India Yatra and passes through and the village of where Vasudev Datta was living. Vasudeva Datta and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knows that he has a pure devotee, and this he was always chanting his holy name. You know what was Vasudeva Datta doing in his source? It was actually completely kind of what is called words. Actually, it's a this the pus was coming out from his, and also there were little worms were even there. So anytime what happened, these worms slip down from the source and fall down. Vasudeva take that the worm again put back in his wound. His wound was very much worse, and he was tolerating all this pain. But he does not give or ask for any help. He does not give to anything that he thinks that this is my problem. This is because of my karma that it was actually happened to me. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew this, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was traveling to South India, and then came to Vasudeva Datta. And Vasudeva Datta told, please stay away from me, Lord. You see, look at that, my condition here, and you will be also get all these things. And I'm so contaminated because of my contamination, I'm suffering this, and you please don't come near to me. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was melted with the humility of Vasudeva Datta. And seeing this, he's putting back the worms which falls from his body, putting back in his wound. This is the devotees, dear devotees. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Vasudeva Datta, embraced in such a way that immediately all his wounds, all his souls, all this, everything is disappeared. And then Vasudeva Datta became a very handsome person. You know what Vasudeva Datta replied to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, oh Lord, please give me that my form back, because of otherwise I will develop this pride. I will develop this, this arrogance, and then I would behave accordingly to the people. Please give me back this, this. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very humbly and smilingly mentioned to Vasudeva Datta, you are a pure devotee. No impurities can come upon you. And please, take up. And Vasudeva Datta was blessed with the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even in the Srimad Bhagavad, the Brahma was praying this to the, Supreme Lord in the second canto, 7th chapter, it is mentioned. Brahma was praying. After Supreme Lord gave all this benediction to Brahma for the creation, what was the first prayer Brahma was offered to Krishna? Brahma was praying, oh Lord, please don't put me in a position that, so that I get this pride that I am creating all this. Please take me out all this. Please don't give me this. So, dear devotees, this is the behavior and the attitude of a person who is progressing. And as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, and it goes like that, and there is a beautiful example of here, Narottam Das Thakur. Narottam Das Thakur, he is also the person of a millionaire. He was the richest person on that time. He left home to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but couldn't see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left this world, then only Narottam Das Thakur came to Vrindavan. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in the dream of Narottam Das Thakur. And mentioned that take the initiation from Lokanath Goswami. Lokanath Goswami was a Goswami. He was, kind of very consolidated, but he secluded himself in such a way that completely in the chanting of the holy name. And then Narottam Das Thakur had to take the initiation from Lokanath Goswami. Then Lokanath Goswami was not even giving the initiation. So, but somehow in mind, Narottam Das Thakur took Lokanath Goswami as the spiritual master, now started to serve. You know what Narottam Das Thakur was saying? Every night, early in the morning, that Lokanath Goswami go for answering the nature's call. Those days it's in the ground. So goes there, and then what happens after that? Every day, Narottam Das Thakur go hidingly behind this, his master, his spiritual master. And after he's answering the nature's call, he would go there and clean that place. So every day this was happening, and this Lokanath Goswami was noticed that what is happening here? Everything is clean. When I come back, something is happening. One day, Lokanath Goswami found out that Narottam Das Thakur was doing this, and then completely melted with it, because he was the son of a millionaire that time, and giving this, benedictions. And later then Lokanath Goswami accepted Narottam Das Thakur as his disciple, only one disciple. And then, we know that who is that Narottam Das Thakur, such a beautiful way that compiling all these beautiful scriptures. So dear devotees, there are, not to speak like this, it says that Vaishnava is always tolerant and submissive like trees and the grass. He tolerates insults offered by others, for he is simply interested in chanting the holy name of the Lord without being disturbed. This is Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Leela is mentioning about it. And then is also there is a place where Kundi is offering these prayers to the Supreme Lord. It says that the efficacy of the holy name depends on the quality of the feeling of the chanter. So quality is very important. So when we are, selfless and this humble and this all wonderful qualities and tolerate that all the odds comes to us, then what happens? This is where we are developing the devotee or the spiritual quality. And it says that, my Lord, your Lordship can easily be approached, but only those who are materially exhausted. One who is in the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with the respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, and worldly beauty, cannot approach you with a sincere feeling. So one should have, can have that feeling to approach the Lord with that humility and the tolerance. And then we come to this another section of it. Sri Haridas Thakur and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always says that is in the company of association of Sri Ramananda Rai and the Swarup Damodara. Chanting is compared to the helpless cry of a child for its mother. It's a prayer from the care of the repentant heart. It is chanted, therefore, in humility. Once in a state of devotional ecstasy, while in the company of two close followers, Swarup Damodar the Goswami and Ramananda Rai, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu described the quintessential importance of chanting with the mood of humility. He said, one who thinks himself lower than the grass, who is more tolerant than a tree, and who does not expect personal honor, but is always prepared to give all respect to others, can very easily always chant the holy name of the Lord. Then what happened? Then Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was also mentioning, commenting upon this, the famous words, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, declares, everyone please hear me. String these words on the thread of the holy name and wear it on your neck for continuous remembrance. One must strictly follow the principles given by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this verse. If one simply does so, certainly he will achieve the ultimate goal of life, the lotus feet of Krishna. So, dear devotees, there are wonderful, descriptions of this holy name. There are, when we chant the holy name, there are three states of the holy name. One is called Nama Aparad, another is called the Nama Bhas, and another is called the pure chanting Shuddhana. It is mentioned that Nama Aparad is actually that one who does not follow the 10 offenses of the holy name. 10 offenses of the holy name, then he is actually doing a Nama Aparad. We will take the classes for the 10 offenses in detail. Then there is also a case called Nama Bhas. It's in between. That means he does not all of making all these offenses against Vaishnavas and all the other living entities. And he also not properly chant the holy name. It's called Namabhas. It's mentioned that in the Harinam Chindamani, Haridas Thakur mentioning to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that one who is even in the stage of Namabhas, he will not enter into the Goloka Vrindavan. Yes, he will get the mukti, he will get all these kinds of, he goes up to the peripheral of the, even he cannot enter into the Goloka Vrindavan with Krishna. Only with the Shuddhanam, only with that prema bhakti that one can attain Krishna in the Goloka Vrindavan, the close association of Krishna. So then then there is another called, three kinds of Namaparad and Namabhas and then Shuddhanam. Then there is another called, also in the, O Govinda, O Krishna, it is said that in the Shastras that by once uttering the holy name of the Lord, the sinner gets rid of a quantity of sins that he is unable to commit. Such is the power of uttering the holy name of the Lord. There is not the least exaggeration of this statement. Actually, the Lord's holy name has such a powerful potency, but there is a quality to such utterance also. So that's very important to understand, dear devotees. It depends on the quality of feeling. A helpless man can feelingly utter the holy name of the Lord, whereas a man who utters the same holy name in great material satisfaction cannot be so sincere. A materially puffed up person may utter the holy name of the Lord occasionally, but he is incapable of uttering the holy name in quality and purely. So then we also knows that, there is, three kinds of devotees. We know that is called Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, and Uttama Adhikari. That these are all shows that very importantly. So it says that when Kanishta Adhikari, who is just begin and he started to chant, when he, because of his doesn't have this humility, what happens? He thinks that he is a pure devotee. Everybody else is not a devotee as like me. He always thinks that I'm so and so, I'm so pure devotee. I chant, I do this, I do serve, I do this. But as soon as we have this kinds of feeling that, oh, I'm a pure devotee, then think that, that is not humility. Then there is a Madhyama Adhikari, understand his position and he continuously chant. Then there is an Uttama Adhikari. Uttama Adhikari thinks that I'm not a devotee. Everybody else in the world is a devotee. So like Vasudev Datta, like that's a Uttama Adhikari. There are devotees always chant and he does not show off, like puffed up and is all these manas, all this puja, pradishta. He's just silently, just very calmly and give respect to everyone, but he just completely follow the scriptures and chant the holy name very purely. Consider that they are the pure, devotees of the Lord. And then rest of that darshan of that pure devotees itself is very purifying. So always think that, we never think that I'm so and so, I'm so great, I'm like that. So then we come to this conclusion of all these. There are there are lots of scriptural references. Mother Devahudi accepting us, her son as his spiritual master. And it's the Srimad Bhagavad explains that this is the humility. Because of our position is we are eternal servants of Krishna. To understand the purity, understand the Supreme Lord, how one can come out from the clutches of this material Maya. That's our business. That's our understanding. Otherwise, when we are in the grip of the clutches of this Maya, this material energy, we will have all kinds of material, these symptoms of arrogance, anarthas, and so many. Because of when there is no mercy, when there is no chanting, pure chanting on offenses, then what happens? We start to make continuously the offenses. So we'll come to that understanding that how one can came to the So I'm just running out of the time now. There are so many scriptures out there, and this is one in the Bhagavad Gita. Supreme Lord Krishna is telling to Arjuna. It says that, as Krishna is telling in this 10th chapter, says that, Maharshinam, Bhruguraham, Giriram Asmi Egam Aksharam. Giram Asmi Egam Aksharam. Yajnanam Jabayo Asmi, is the Stavarana Himalaya. The translation of the great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of vibrations, I am the transcendental. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy name. Dear devotees, so we are actually associating with Krishna. So in that Krishna, when we go in front of the Lord with all our baggage, all of our these impurities, in our heart, we have this arrogance, all this, bad behavior, bad talking, one's always ninda, always have bad thoughts in our, and then going and doing everything and having this all impurities, and we are going in front of the Lord. So Krishna says that I am the japa of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy name. And see, Krishna says that constant chanting of the holy name will make one free from offense. So that's also very important. Even though we are not pure, we are all doing that, goes through this section of it. But by our sincere attempt understanding this, we can continuously make progress. How? The constant chanting, Kirtaniya Sadagari, that's very important. The process, Kirtaniya Sadagari, even though we go through this all impurities, we have all this constantly chanting the one make offenses, and then he will gradually be elevated to the transcendental platform, which he can chant the pure holy name. So only by the mercy of the devotees and mercy, that's why devotees, those who are sincerely seeking, they should seek the mercy of the devotees and the Supreme Lord. That's why we have to follow the instructions of the Supreme Lord. We have to follow the instructions of the spiritual master and the devotees. We have to humbly serve, humbly try to serve, and always seek for the opportunity to serve sincerely and selflessly. This is the sign of, and then tolerate. There are so many situations we all can come across that somebody can blaspheme us, and so many. But as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, that we should tolerate all this. All the odds and adversities we have to tolerate. And then what happens? He can chant the pure holy name and thus became a lover of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, attained Prema Bhakti. The devotee's holy name is complete. He is Krishna himself. Nama Rupa Krishna, Kali Kala Nama Rupa Krishna Avatar. In this age of Kali, Krishna is taken in the form of the holy name. So this is just the first section of this verse. Let me stop here. And first section of this verse, and this can give wonderful benefits to your devotees. And we should understand that how we should chant the holy name. We should, as much as possible, we should understand and always remember this verse, that we should be as much as possible very humble in all our speech, all our behaviors, all our attitude, all our dealings with the devotees at this world. We should always give respect and understanding that my all business is here to chant the holy name and associate with Krishna devotees. And as much as possible, I would do that, so that Krishna will make me to that level of spiritual understanding. Because of this is all these material qualities. These are called material qualities, is arrogance, envy, all these anarthas. But when we come to this pure devotional stage with that humility, tolerance, humbleness, dainya, dependency upon the Supreme Lord, dependency upon the, don't think that I'm complete, I'm so and so. We are insignificant in this world, Only that what we have conscious, that we have the breath, and this what is comes from the Supreme Lord. But we think that we are the Lord of this material world, Lord of this everything. I can control everything, I'm so and so. With this attitude, dear devotees, we cannot make progress and we make offenses. So, well, let me conclude this today's section, what we learned today. So why we want to be in this position of humility and the tolerance? Because of we need to, as much as possible, we need to avoid the aparadhas of the Vaishnava aparadhas, nama aparadhas, seva aparadhas, dhava aparadhas. So only way that we can avoid ourselves and free ourselves from these aparadhas, to behave in such a way that to in a very humble stage, and to behave nicely with everybody, and very tolerant in all situations. Otherwise, not to retaliate, like if something small comes up, something comes up, we have revenges and the challenges and all those things that we take in our heart, and then we start to pollute our mind, and somehow or other, when you get an opportunity to retaliate, forget it. Then even if it is, and we think that this is because of my karma, and as soon as if something bad happens to us, remember that some of our karma is eradicated from us. There's a mercy of the Lord. Okay, so with this note, I would end here. Thank you so much. It's went a little bit over, and being there patiently and listening to this. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. So see some comments here. Very informative class. Haribol, I need to drop. Okay, so that's fine. Anything else, dear devotees? Anything else you would like to add? Any comments, realization? Any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat
Pranam. All Guru Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhuji, I want to understand that you told us that Haridas Thakur, about the story of Haridas Thakur and Lord Ramchandra, the story of that lady. So I wanted to know why Ramchandra Bhagwan was coming every time. I was not understanding that.
No, I was actually mentioning, it's not Lord Ramachandra. There is a person called Ramachandra Khan. He was Ramachandra Khan. He was actually assisting in government to collect the tax, and he was a little kind of a person like a landlord over there. And when Haridas Thakur came to the village, and everybody was giving respect to Haridas Thakur, and this Ramachandra Khan was very much envious, very much in jealousy. He made a plot to tarnish Haridas Thakur. So it's not Lord Ramachandra. This is Ramachandra Khan.
And Haridas Thakur, you said that the Haridas Thakur used to do 3,000 names every day.
300,000, 192 rounds every day.
Wow.
Oh my God. So I just want to know, Prabhuji, in Ekadashi, what we used to chant more rounds, like sometimes we reach, I reach to like 30, 38, the entire day goes off. Then how a person can chant 192 rounds in a day? Prabhuji, is it possible?
It's possible. It's possible. Yes, it's possible. Because of, see, many times we say that Chaitanya Haridas Thakur was chanting, there is 64 rounds in the mind, and 64 rounds in japa, and 64 rounds loudly. So 64, 64, and 64. It's possible because of when a person so focused, so much purified, Every minute, every chanting is actually pure because of nothing else in his mind, nothing else in his there. We chant because of our impurities obstruct us, our thought process obstruct us to go to that flow of chanting, right? Go to that flow of chanting. We have so many thought process waves. The ocean of waves comes to our mind when we chant the holy name. Because why? Because we are not humble and because we have so many self-centric activities. We put ourselves, oh, how can I? We are not into that stage, right? But Haridas Thakur is actually Narada Dev, right? Narada Dev incarnated. He has such a potency. Just the darshan, just the presence of Haridas Thakur can purify everybody else, and everybody else be chanted, right? That's the symptom of pure devotee. When the pure devotee comes, pure devotee instructs, and pure devotee is chanting, everybody else also start to chant because of that can induce and inspire, and because of the purity. As Srila Prabhupada says that purity is the force. See that the word purity is the force. If we don't have the purity, then we don't get that strength, right, to engage in the devotional service. Purity is the force. Always remember that. Where do we get this purity? Purity from our behavior or attitude, our focus, our determination, our shraddha. And then what happens? We completely come to that purity and pure stage. That's why, when we are able to chant pure holy name, when we doesn't have a purity, then all impurity comes, right? Either sun or darkness, either light or darkness, right? As it's in the Chaitanya, in the scripture says that where there is a sun, then there is no darkness. Maya hi andhakar, Krishna Surya Saman, Maya hi andhakar, Jaham Surya Vaham Maya Adhikar. Vayam na Maya nahi Adhikar. It means there is no Adhikar for Maya when there is Krishna, there is sun. So like that, when there is Krishna, when we see Krishna, when we have completely dedicated surrender to Krishna, then there is no Adhikar for the Maya. Then it does not come. So, which that purity stage, one gets the strength, right? One gets the strength to chant the holy name completely and focusedly, and it's possible. Yes, Haridas Thakur was almost 22 rounds, 22 hours. We like that. Haridas Thakur was chanting 22 hours, sleep only for 2 hours, and other things. 22 hours for chanting for holy name. Yes, as we know that.
And one last question is.
Yes, please.
Yeah, my last question is that in the starting, the slide, you said that every time one should chant the holy name. So in the 10 offenses, Nam Aparad, when we recite in the morning, so there it's given that if we are uttering the holy name unattentively, so it will be an offense. So if we are means every time if we are chanting the holy name, so I'm not attentively doing the chanting, no, so it will come like we are cooking or doing something, we are gossiping, or no, not gossiping, anything we are doing, but the chanting is going on. I'm just taking an example. So
right.
will it not be counted in offense, Prabhuji? I would like to know this.
Yes, good point. Very good question, Madhuri. It's wonderful. That is a good information for everybody. Yes, we are not up to the stage of Haridas Thakur. We are not up to that stage of that always chant with that attention and nothing. We are grihasthas. Grihastha has some limitations. That's why we have a guru, spiritual master, or a Shiksha guru. We take instruction from the Shiksha guru. So we are not independent. We are actually taking a shelter of a devoted person, or we take shelter of. That's why we have the system of counselors, Bhakti-Vrisha leaders, and the devotee community and senior devotees in our community. So what we do, we take a shelter of such devotees. Then we follow such devotees' instruction. So that means we are under the protection of or guidance of a devotee. So when we are under the shelter and guidance of a devotee, our all consciousness is that, our all duty is that we should follow that devotee, right? So devotee, we take then vow that we take that some instruction that, okay, I would chant 16 rounds minimum, or 8 rounds or 12 rounds, right? So when we chant this round, we have to chant this, what the vow we taken. So Haridas Thakur took a vow of 192 round of chanting every day. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur took a vow of chanting 1 billion holy name. It took 10 years. Took a vow. So this is a vow. right? When we took a vow like that, we should definitely follow and the vows. So like 8 rounds and 16 rounds, we took a vow. Definitely we should finish and complete that chant because we took a vow. Then always chant Hare Krishna means yes, we should, we'll be doing our cooking, we'll be doing something. We should have that Krishna in our mind or chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Even we have devotees while sleeping, they are having this kinds of vibration in their heart, chanting the holy name. They're not attending, but it's there. This Nam Purush, the holy name. Holy name has itself full of life, right? The moment we take associate with the holy name, then holy name itself will protect. It will give us that the strength and the potency. But this is our like that is my Guru Maharaj saying that when we go for Mangalarati, that Krishna will see us. But when we go for the Darshanarati, we will see Krishna, right? So like that. When we chant the holy name with this vow, that then we are Krishna is actually, we are seeing Krishna, we are with Krishna, we are taking such an utterance, such an focus, such an association with Krishna. But on the other time, when we chant, Krishna is seeing us, right? So we are with Krishna. Okay?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Yes, Niru Madaji.
Yes, Prabhuji. When we chant, we are not supposed to touch the index finger, but sometimes because of the arthritis, sometimes my hand gets very stiff. So when I move it, I touch it, the mala. Is that an offense?
It's okay, Madaji. Don't take it as a big offense of it. It's an etiquette that we should not touch. Yes, sometimes it happens like that. Don't take it as a big offense. That's not enough. That's not even coming into the form. But it's a good to keep finger away because we always keep that the faulty index finger is always counts as a faulty finger. So we should take out the index finger out and then we chant. But sometimes it happens. We are all getting old. Sometimes it happens, but Krishna or doesn't take this as an offense. That's okay. But that doesn't mean that we should always do that. As much as possible, we should try to avoid. But accidentally it happens. When accidentally something happens, Krishna never take it as an offense. Like Krishna says that my devotee never perishes. And even though there are some accidental offenses, then quickly they come back to their original consciousness and offenseless state. My devotee never perishes. Krishna gives that promise and to the devotees. So yeah, that's not an offense, but sometimes it's up. Don't take this like these are very minor things, but that's also not even considered as an offense. But that is an etiquette of chanting the holy name. Okay, in any condition, like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that in the second verse, Namna Makari Nada Sarva Shakti Tatra Arpida Niyamida Smaranenaka. There is no rules and regulation for chanting the holy name. Even devotees can some people say, some scripture says that we should not take our chanting bead into the bathroom, like especially this is Tulasi bead, right? We should not take to the bathroom and we should be hang out. And when one who goes to the bathroom, if he has a Brahmana, second initiated, he has to tie his Brahman thread on the ear, which considered as a Ganga, so it purifies like that. So these are all the what is called rules and regulations, right? But when it comes to the Bhagavad Vidhi, there are two, Pancharatrak Vidhi and Bhagavad Vidhi. Bhagavad Vidhi is based on completely on the love of Godhead. When there is a love of Godhead, then we know that there is a there is a story in it's happened in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Pandharpur, and then wherever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes, even answering the nature's call, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would chant the holy name. This generally it is considered as impure. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even though, and disciples mentioned that I cannot stop myself chanting the holy name. Even I hold my chant, to hold my tongue, it will keep chanting the holy name. I cannot control myself. So like that, we should come to that state of complete. So all these offenses, that is secondary, but the primary is that wherever, in whichever condition, even, there was a devotee, great devotee was in there was my lady, Mataji, the monthly cycle, somebody said not to chant the holy name. But then what happened? And this was a great devotee and such a love for the Krishna and chanting the holy name. And this devotee replied that if my death is coming to myself on this time, what would happen? I should not chant. So then one should chant all the time. There is no rules and regulations. But all these rules and regulations secondary to help our chanting. Why? You know that if it helps your chanting, then you should chant. And if it doesn't help your chanting, then should avoid all those. If you are following the rules and regulations, and that is a hindrance for your chanting, then you should chant the holy name primarily. Even Srila Prabhupada said that when Srila Prabhupada allowed the Madajis to go to worship, do the puja and deity service, and many said that. Srila Prabhupada said the primary thing is actually not to the rules and regulation, but to worship the Supreme Lord in any condition. Even it said that if there are no devotees, even the Madajis are there in the monthly cycle, they can go and do the puja. Because of standing and worshipping, and the love for the Supreme Lord is the primary, rules and regulations is secondary. Right? So like that, always remember that. If it is a hindrance for your chanting these rules and regulation, then you have to chant the holy name. So using this finger and is to chant, help your chanting, then no worries into that. You chant the holy name in all this. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Okay. Vimal Gupta Prabhu. Any?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Dandavat
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhuji, class was wonderful, Prabhuji. I just wanted to ask a small clarification, Prabhuji.
Sure.
So regarding Haridas Thakur, Prabhuji, I read, I think so it's not exactly, I'm not exactly correct, don't know the correct source, but what I read is Haridas Thakur was Lord Brahma, right? And God, he has taken himself that curse that, I have doubted you, means Brahma Vimochana Leela. So in that part, Lord Brahma doubts Lord Krishna, right, when he was in Vrindavan. So that time, this Lord Brahma, I doubted you, you're my beloved, and I want to curse myself. And basically, he comes to Bhuloka, and he is Haridas Thakur, who is able to do 192 rounds.
Yeah.
That's what.
That is true. That's true. And also Narada as well as the Brahma. Even Srivas Thakur is also Narada, and also this is a partial, the form because of that Narada. Haridas Thakur is always chanting, right? Narada is always, and also took that position of very humble. That's from the Brahma. That the Brahma Vibhavana Leela. Then the Krishna took all the cows and the gopis, and Brahma was offending, right? So
Correct,
Brahma
correct.
was saying that because of my high position, because of that, I took this one. So I want to become so humble and such a way that I should serve you. And then Krishna showed that form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Brahmadev, and you will see this form. And that's why Haridas Thakur had this both both qualities. Okay? And even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu even called Haridas Thakur Narada Haridas. It's Narada Haridas. Like that. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay. Anybody else would like to add anything? Any other comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my obeisance of Srila Prabhupada.
Yes.
So, Prabhu, this Trinadapi Sunica verse is one of the most famous in ISKCON.
Most.
And the philosophy is okay to understand, and implementation is almost extremely difficult. Intellectually hote, but practice may gets to be difficult. So I'm having a thought that where the Yukta Vairagya principle comes, where you use everything in service of Krishna. So the opposite of humility is arrogance. And arrogance comes so easily to us, to me at least. So how can arrogance then be used in service of Krishna? Because humility putting in service of Krishna by chanting his name properly is so difficult. So if something is easy to me, then can it be employed in his service, arrogance? But there are certain things that just can't be used in Yukta Vairagya.
It's a good thought. That yes, it's extremely agree. Completely agree. It's extremely difficult because Krishna was revealing to Arjuna, that is, Arjuna was saying that it's difficult to control my mind. Likes that. These all custards, sprouts in the mind, this mana, this subtle form of, everything comes to the mind. It's very difficult, extremely difficult to control the mind. As Krishna says that we should practice in such a way that, so that gradually it comes to that level. That's why constantly chant, and then we come to that stage of that, some extent, it's not that completely. It takes years and years and years to come to that stage if we sincerely, selflessly practice. So practice is the key, and continuously chant, no matter what, wherever we are. But yes, how we can, employ our arrogance to the service of Krishna, right? Yes, we can, because of understanding that our position, understanding all this. Like we all have this various, problems. Like in the case of, in the case of Krishna is inciting, the anger to Arjuna, or when Hanumanji went into the Lanka, and he was extremely humble. But at that same time, he was also showing his arrogance to, burn down the Lanka in the service because of serving the Lordship. So it is mentioned that when a devotee is in trouble, when a devotee is in a situation that, there are situations where devotees are in trouble. And that time, yes, there is nothing wrong in that. We should show our, pride, or we should show our anger to that devotee or that arrogance in such a way that it helps to, in promotion of devotional service, protecting the devotees, protecting the temple. We know that when the Mayapur, when the dacoits came, and even, our devotees were even carrying the gun, in the case of, protecting this temple. And when they started they are started to take the deities out and throwing away. And this is the time, even devotees came and started, and, entered into the violence of, to protect. So violence and arrogance is necessary some extent, in order to, protect the devotees. Lord came down in the form of Hiranyaksha. That time, Lord was not showing any humility to Hiranyakashipu. Lord was showing his all extremely, arrogant form or ferocious form to Hiranyakashipu. Why? When the devotee is in the danger. So there are situations where the devotees, the holy name in trouble, in danger. Devotees and the temple are in danger, or somebody blaspheming the devotee unnecessarily. Devotee is in problem. So that time we should show the, our that, because of your, that is also in the service of the Lord. There are so many examples in our Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Even Srila Prabhupada said, even our scriptures said that if somebody is blaspheming the holy name, that time it said that if somebody blaspheming the devotee and somebody blaspheming the holy name, as a devotee, we are not supposed to sit idle or sit silent and show our, mana. We should interfere in it, and we should also argue with it and defeat that, arguments and the thought process for the other person, so that it will help. So because of the reason is that it will help in all respects. So like, for example, in so many, cases there, in the example of in the Jagannath Puri, where an old lady came, right? Old lady came to see the Lord. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was standing in the, the Divastamba there in the back. And one lady came and climbed on the top of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's shoulder. Simply climbed up. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was tolerating, and, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentioned that I should help. I should be, not proud of on that time, and so on. So showing the mercy, and as well as that lady was also showing the arrogance, right? Climbing on the top of. So the purpose is that to engage in the loving devotional service of the Lord. One time, the Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's the servant, personal servant, I think is Krishna Das. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was lying down in front of the Gambhira, in front of the, the Simhadwara of the Jagannath Puri. Then the altar was opened. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then Govinda, Govinda was cross over Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Cross over Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to take the darshan of the Lord. Then when after the darshan, Govinda came around Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, why did you do that? And why did you come back after around me after it? So Govinda said, I wanted to take the darshan of the Lord. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced, the Govinda and said that you did the right. One time when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought the Mahaprasadam from Jagannath Puri to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he just got up from the bed and didn't even brush the teeth or nothing. Just, usually that when we honor the prasadam, we should be very, very much, pure and then all those things, right? So then said the Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya immediately took the prasadam and, put it in the mouth and ate it. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you did the right thing. We should honor the prasad. No, kind of that desha, kala, patra and that kind. So like that, I believe that, Prabhuji, that's, so when there is the utmost need of to protect the dharma, to protect the Krishna consciousness, protect the devotees, protect ourselves even, right? That we should show our, it's not that when somebody was trying to come and steal Srimad Bhagavatam, there are so many incidents happen. Somebody come and trying to steal Srimad Bhagavatam, devotees protecting and show their all maximum strength and praying to the Lord protect us, right? So these are the various situations that we can show our arrogance, that to upkeep the dharma, upkeep that everybody, upkeep the devotees, upkeep the Krishna consciousness, we should show that, right? That's many times even in the case of, Lord Vamana Dev came to protect the, the devotees. And Lord comes down to protect the devotees and take the sword. Lord Parshuram came, took the sword and killed 21 times. So these are all showing us that in order to protect the dharmas to satchal bhagavat pranita. Dharma means that our ultimate is actually to protect. Yes, Yukta Vairag is very appropriate, utilizing everything, even our strength, utilizing for the Supreme Lord, utilizing even all the pride, mana, all these various things for the service of the Supreme Lord, right? So that way, to always have that, to upkeep, that to protect and protect everything, that is also a devotional service. That's not actually our, that's actually the service to Krishna.
Yeah, Prabhu, my arrogance in the sense I can understand anger and violence in terms of protecting deities or the devotees, but arrogance in terms of I'm superior than you are. So here, whatever they're doing it on behalf of somebody, not for themselves. So the devotees who were shooting the dacoits were not trying to save their property. They were saving whatever are the other devotees and Krishna. Or Hanuman burning Lanka. It wasn't for himself. But the arrogance is that we feel I'm superior than you. That type of arrogance.
Yes.
So how would that fit in Yukta Vairagya?
I don't know specifically about, yes, somebody is that, okay, for selfish purpose, arrogance utilizes for the selfish purpose for his own, or in the name of that can serve. Even if it is service to the Lord, it is not an arrogance, right? It is a humility that, yes, even though, like just for an example, servant leader, like, in Bhakti Vinod Maharaj was presenting this to the community or all the, sannyasis and the, all the GBC. There is a good article out there. Bhakti Vinod Thakur was mentioning this one. I am a servant leader. So where this arrogance or that superiority comes, a leader because of the position which I have, that the position to serve to the community and the devotee. So I'm very selflessly and humbly accepting that to serve, right? So that is okay. Like that, suppose a president of the temple, you are accepting that position as a servant leader, that yes, president is needed and a person who's sometimes to chastise. This is called authority, right? This is called authority. So yes, there is an authority in every places. Like if you are in that position of an authority, then we can behave. That is not an arrogance. That is a management. That's a duty of a or system. Like we are all in the system of a temple or system of regulations and rules. So one has to follow that, and it's a duty of a authorities to chastise and to control and correct. Like it's mentioned that when an equal devotee comes together, they make friendship. Then a devotee, a senior in the position and in so many other ways, and there is a junior devotee. The senior devotee should take a position to correct and advise. So that is not an arrogance, that is actually taking that position because of I'm a senior devotee, so that is my duty, dharma, to correct and guide a devotee or a junior person or other persons. On the other hand, if I am a junior devotee and there is a senior devotee, we should always give the respect to the senior devotee. So this is the etiquettes, right? These are the etiquettes. So if you are thinking that, okay, I have to do this. So if we are in an authoritative position, if you are as a guru, or if you are a Shiksha guru, or a Bhaktrusha leader, or a counselor, or in that system, we are part of that system, then we have to execute our duty like Krishna telling to Arjuna, Mam anusmari yudhyacha, right? Tata tatsma sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmari yudhyacha. Why? As it says that when we are following that, we are in instructions of we are following first of all our dharma, our duty, our dharma, and then we are upkeeping that. So in that case, we can show that that arrogance or the mana or that is needed. That's to correct. That's to, as we are in authoritative position for that. Is it okay or? Haribol?
Yeah, Prabhu, it kind of answers. I can understand the servant leader position and that arrogance in terms of asserting dominance when required.
When required. Yes, that's a teacher can punish a student. There is no problem with that.
But the thing is, he doesn't feel he's superior. He's showing he's superior, but he's not feeling he's superior.
Yeah, he's executing his duty, his dharma that we should do. If you are in a position, if you are in a situation where like, a temple commander or when there is the deity service, in charge of somebody, then there should be some more order, right? So sometimes you have to say some, words, okay, some, maybe Srila Prabhupada chastised many times, when Srila Prabhupada says that sit properly, sit straight, or, when something comes up, or, chastise, when the senior devotee is chastised, not really arrogance, it's actually correct. And also, but it feels that maybe junior devotee feel that, oh, this devotee is arrogant, showing this and showing that, using these words and things like that. But that is not really, that's always, we have that, good, that's why Srila Prabhupada was, you are ever well-wisher, even though chastise, you are ever well-wisher, right? That means the devotee is always para dukkha dukhi or para sukha sukhi. That means when a devotee progress in spiritual, that's a devotee's another duty, is that to see that his subordinate or his junior devotees or those who are depending upon that devotees progress well in Krishna consciousness. That is the duty. That's why the guru is known as guru, means who is completely, he is very, what is called a grave. Is grave. He has, sometimes he does not deal everything, like an ordinary person does it. Sometimes people come and to see him, they say, no, I have some other things to do. We should not take it as an offense. So it's an arrogant. That is because of our problem. Because they are in a different mood. They are in a grave situation. They are in a very heavy in their talking, in behavior. They are heavy, but because of to serve, because they are serving higher purpose. So everybody goes in the higher purpose like that. They have higher purpose. So they have to do that, right? So like that. So these are within the peripherals of this Krishna consciousness. There are various, things like that we should always take. That doesn't mean that, on when it comes to the personal level, or we show this to, all to the people in such a way, oh, I am so and so, everybody should fall at feet of myself and do that, do this. If I don't, I will take a revenge against you, or that, you are this. No, that's not. But we can see that when devotee behaves like that, many times, when devotees comes and tells us, that, yeah, you did the right thing, Prabhuji, because I did that, means I have to progress myself. So this is the duty of a husband, duty of a, teacher, duty of a spiritual master, duty of an authority, that to correct and to bring everybody to that level of Krishna consciousness. Yes, because of there are sometimes mistakes happens, right? So correcting the mistakes as an authority, not that everybody comes and because of they're not qualified to do that. So somebody is qualified. That's why it's called quality. Quality is very important, right? And somebody is qualified to do that, then should do it. So that's not a kind of all of us.
Thanks, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. All those
Pranam, all those Shishla Prabhupada, Tatra Prabhuji ki, yeah.
No, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji, that kind of situation is all the temples. It is showing that kind of situation. It is common, but this is to me, it is a Kanishtodhikari. That's those who are Kanishtodhikari, they can showing up. Oh, I am the senior citizen.
Yeah.
And I am doing these things. Okay, you are the junior, you came new. You should not do that thing, that kind of things. In all the temples of Prabhuji, it has happened. Actually.
Yeah, that's always there, right? We can see that there are so many. Initially, they are so humble and say that, yeah, I'm that, I'm this, I'm your boss, I'm this, I'm this. After a few years, when they, get some kind of position, when they get some kind of, we can feel that instead of das, now they say I'm a boss,
Yeah.
So actually, dasana das, now it's bossana das, right? I'm boss. I'm this.
Yes.
Follow me. You should, do that, do this. I can see that many times. Even in the commanding tone, some instructing tone, that there is arrogance is there. But no, it should be even we are in the state of. It should show very our humble way of speech, humble way of behaving, humble way of things like that. I mean, we should not show our like our, but it's called our attitude, our sometimes we show that in our, oh, I am so and so, that's why I'm talking this way. Sometimes I'm so, no, we should not feel that we are servants. Das, what is our Gobi Bhartra Bhada Kamalayor Dasa Dasanu Das. We are all the eternal servants of the servants of the servants, the devotees of the Lord. Should always have that attitude and the feeling. Never, whenever there is a necessary, it's not that every time I should go, no. When there is absolutely necessary that we should say that to a person, then don't talk any of, fix your mind upon you and the consciousness and Krishna and serve sincerely whatever the service you have. And all the time, and, don't interfere or don't offend and don't take up, I'm so and so, I'm so and so. They have that humble position in all respect and chant, and then as much as we can do, even though there are some atrocities owed and against us and all comes to us, right? We are living in a world that everybody is not saints and what is called the sages. We are in the world that going through, we have to go through. So all our business is actually somehow we can every day that how can I go this day without offense and chant the holy name purely, so that we get more and more strength in our day-to-day life to deal with all these things. We pray to Krishna. So, then Krishna will take care of the rest, everything. Certain things are not in our hand also, and we cannot do anything, right? Certain things are in our hand. And there was one devotee saying that only two things, right? Why we are worrying about only certain things we are in our control, then it's in our control. So then why should worry? Because it's in our control. Certain thing is not in our control, then why should worry? Because it's not in our control. Then we should depend upon the Supreme Lord. So then why should worry? So that's what it is. We should be worry free, always understanding that certain things I can do, certain things I cannot do. And we should be always with that, why should, avoid all these kinds of odds And the most important thing, Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Sharanagati, in the first things, Dainyada, or dependency upon everybody and every devotee and Krishna. So you should always have that position of humility in all respect. Okay?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam to everyone.
All Srila Prabhupada.
Very wonderfully you explain everything, as always you did. So Prabhu, my question is that Namavas, right?
Yeah,
What is
Namavas.
that? Can you explain a little bit? Namavas,
Yeah.
pure nam.
Yeah,
Pure,
Namabhas. You know
yes,
that the word called Bhas? Bhas
yes,
means Surya, the light,
yes,
right?
yes.
Then Abhas means there is no light. Okay,
Okay,
that's right. So Bhas, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that Natad Bhasayado Surya, right? Natad Bhasayado Surya. There is no light of the Surya. Natad Bhasaya. The Bhasa means light.
yes.
Abhas means there is no light. There is
Okay,
no clear understanding. There is no clearly that there is no light. Sandakar. So like
okay.
that. Namabhas means there is no proper chanting. There is no proper light. There is no proper vision. There is no
So
proper.
quick, just sorry for interruption.
Yeah.
So we are doing the chanting, we are thinking other thing but chanting.
Yeah.
Eh? So this is the Namavas or not?
This is Namabhas. This is completely Namabhas.
Okay.
There is Nam.
So
Because
and
there is no light of the holy name. There is no the potency of there is that we are not seeing the light. We are not we are not with the holy name. That means like the Abhas. Abhas means there is no potency of the light. There is no light of the holy name. So we are somewhere else. We are thinking something else. We are just our tongue is just chanting the holy name, but it has potency. It has can eradicate the sinful reactions of everybody, and it has such a potency of the holy name. Yes, that is called Namabhas, means when we are not attentively chanting and we are making, our minds are going here and there. We are not, it's a pure chanting, our thoughts, our mind, everything is different, and our taste is in the different other things. So basically, it is just a shadow, right? It's just a shadow of the light. There is no light properly. So it's just shadow. That's abhas. That means there is no light. But when it comes to that, the light, when it comes to the front of the sun, what is the light? That is completely bhas, right? That is
yes.
actually pure light. That's what it is. We have to completely meditate, really focus upon that chanting, and then what happens? That's then completely under the light.
Okay, and that is the very beautifully explained. And other things, Babu, you already mentioned that without without pure name, we cannot reach to the Goloka Vrindavan.
Yes.
But through Namavash, we can go to the up to Vaikuntha, right?
Yeah, we can liberate ourselves. We get the mukti and we get the liberation and all this. Then we go to the different other planetary systems, but we cannot enter into the Goloka.
But different other planetary system means that is a Vaikuntha planet or different.
I mean, it's Srila Haridas Thakur says in Harinam Chindamani, he cannot even enter into the Vaikuntha with the Nama.
Okay.
But he can goes to the different other higher planetary system. Even he can go to the Brahma Jyoti, and but he cannot enter into the Vaikuntha with the Nama Bhas.
Oh, okay, got it. So that is good, Babu. So just want to know about the distinction, everything. So,
Yes, mukti means we completely free from our all the anarthas, and we get all the sinful reactions. Anartha, this is called mukti. It's mentioned that, right? So you will be all free from all our sinful reactions. All this comes to us, but we cannot enter into the abode of the Lord with the Nama.
Oh, okay, got it, Babu. Thank you, Babu. Thank you for explaining this thing. Another things I need to discuss. Yes, Babu. Yes. I right now I remember. So you told that Vaishnava etiquette. Yes, in senior Vaishnava you need to do the respect, and that is the etiquette. But that is not depend upon the uh, depend upon the age also, right? suppose one person is initiated, just initiated, but age is older age.
Mhm.
So what will be the etiquette there?
We should respect the age, we should respect the position, we should respect their service, we should respect the gender, we should respect everything. A devotee never thinks that I'm the most senior or I'm that, and we should always think that I'm a humble servant of everyone. In their age, we should respect. If the elderly persons comes, you should get up and pay the respects, all obeisances, right? When a Vaishnava comes, we should, it's the Vaishnava etiquette. As soon as we see Vaishnava from the far, we should give the respect in our mind. We should pay them. When as soon as we come nearby, we should give the Dandot Pranam to that Vaishnava. But like a senior person, senior age, we should always give the respect. If there is a seat, we should get up and respect. We should, all the gesture of the respect we should, offer for everybody.
Yes, Prabhu. Just my question is that one person is first initiated and very old, and other person is there is a young in second initiated in the same place.
Mhm.
In same place.
Yes.
To give the arati, suppose arati. To
Mhm.
whom we can give arati? For first the second initiation, then
Yeah.
the
The devotee comes to the first,
No,
and
devotee, Prabhu, he got the initiation.
yes, correct.
Yes.
Because of he is not in the age, but he is in a position. He is senior because of that's what it is. It says that who is getting older. Old means one who getting into his knowledge. It does not mean that one person get old, but there is on the other hand he is matured in his devotion and is old, and he is more respectful than the other person. But everybody has to be respected as an etiquette. Like just for an example, Sukadeva Goswami, he was just 16 years old when came to the assembly of in Maimish, in the banks of Ganges. There even Brahma was there, even Lord Shiva was there, even all the great sages were there. They all get up. They all got up except Vyasadeva. Everybody else got up to pay the obeisance to Sukadeva Goswami because of his position, because of his so much pure in his devotion, and he's a highly devoted. So it's not that age. Age means that one who mature in his devotion, that means he is the most aged person. When if a 5-year-old boy, and if he is, mature in his devotion, he should be respected.
Okay, got it.
Should be respected first.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Beautifully explained. Hari Bol, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam,
Okay,
everyone.
thank you so much. Okay. Very good. Anything else? Before we conclude. Okay, let's conclude that. It's getting almost okay. Thank you so much, dear devotees. It's beautiful. Please join tomorrow, and we'll not have class on Friday, so we request everybody to join at the temple. And we'll be continue also Monday and the fourth verse. And tomorrow is the second section of this, and we request all of you to join us. So let's pray together. Vancha kalpatarupasya kripa sindhubhyevacha Adidanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Sikshastakam ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Gaura Nitai ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaudi Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Premanande Hari Hari. Thank you
so much, Prabhuji, for the
Thank
wonderful.
you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.